friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to Ask WrestleJuice. You guys left a bunch of great questions. Of course, a lot of stuff has been going on. A lot of your questions have to do with NXT, the new NXT 3.0. It turns out tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video about exactly that. All your questions answered about the new NXT, or at least what I would do with the new NXT, what I think they should do there at WWE with the new NXT. So if I didn't answer your question here about that NXT stuff, then maybe it'll be answered tomorrow in that video. So check that out. First up, FSI says, you've heard every argument and pitch, so let's solve it once and for all. How would you book the top titles in WWE going forward? I think he means the Undisputed Unified Championship there. He says splitting it up, making a new belt, making it above brand, and make IC/US top brands, top brand belts, etc., etc. So obviously, WWE wants, they don't know really what they want at this point. Do they want to split the titles up? I think if they weren't in the middle of this Roman Reigns experiment, that's what they would do immediately. They would just do that. But Roman Reigns has both titles, and to try to creatively get those titles off him, I know you could totally write it as like a triple threat or a ladder match, but let's be honest, those suggestions suck because they're just cheap ways of having him lose a title, and they don't want Roman to lose anything until after WrestleMania, after he's already faced The Rock. So I came up with two scenarios that are pretty simple that would both have to wait till Mania. Mania's only 6 months away. We're about to hit Rumble season, which is, of course, the road to WrestleMania, and that's only about 3 months away. So why don't we just wait? Just hold on a second. Keep on building up the U.S. and keep on building up the Intercontinental Championships. Ratings are fine. Everything's going well. There's no need to rush into this. Tell USA and Fox, after WrestleMania, we will get this done. But what are they going to get done? Are they going to split the titles or going to keep them together? So I've got two scenarios here. If they keep them unified, if they say, hey, as long as the champion is on both shows every week and he defends the title every 30 days, you guys should be fine with that as long as ratings are good. Trust us, we know what we're doing. So if they keep them unified, you just have Cody come back. He wins the Rumble. He fights Roman night 2 of WrestleMania after Roman fights The Rock night 1. And then he gets to beat Roman Reigns, who has just beat The Rock, which is like a pretty big deal. If you get to be the guy who beats the guy that beats The Rock, then that's a pretty good deal for Cody right there. And I think that's that big crowning moment where the guy beats the guy with all the titles. If they want to separate them, you do, like, either way, it's going to be Cody Rhodes. If they separate them, you have Cody come back to answer an open challenge from Lashley. He beats Lashley, but the next week, and he gets that U.S. title, everybody's really happy. But the next week, he offers up an open challenge. Lashley answers that, and then he targets that nasty peck of his. Lashley maybe even cheats to win a little bit, or he just goes extra with Cody, or he attacks him before the bell. I don't know what you do. But you have to have your hero character suffer a little bit of a loss before he comes back and he wins the big one, right? So you have Lashley beat Cody. Oh my goodness. Then they announce the draft. And with the draft, this again takes place after WrestleMania, the splitting of the titles, and Roman remains on one show. So they got to take that WWE title, put it back on Raw. It's important that it's the WWE title as well for Cody Rhodes because that's the title that he wants. And they announced that a tournament will be held to crown the new WWE champion in a special one-night event at Madison Square Garden, where Cody Rhodes wants to win the title. Cody faces Lashley in the finals. Lashley, the guy that basically murdered him for the U.S. title after Cody had won it from him. Cody has to overcome the Lashley odds plus that tournament. And there you go. There you have it. Maybe Seth Rollins is in the tournament as well. The guy who actually took him out last time. Or maybe you have Seth Rollins at this Madison Square Garden thing. I don't know about that, though. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I would have, either way, it's going to be Cody. And on one hand, you give Cody that big Madison Square Garden WWE Championship win. I think that sort of is big enough that he doesn't have to beat Roman for it. And if you really start building up Lashley to be a monster on Raw, I think that that'll take care of that. So, yeah, good question there. Next up, HMB. 0.21. I don't know what that means. Says, what do you think is going to be the result that is going to turn out from the internal investigation at AEW, and if anyone will be released? Who might be? I don't know. I don't know that I should answer this question, but fuck it. Why not? Right? Here's what I think. Honestly, I actually think will probably happen. Dave Meltzer has mentioned the possibility of lawsuits being involved. And here's the thing. I don't know the legalities of it. I do know this. CM Punk is being paid a lot of money right now. He's being paid a ton by AEW. If they get the idea that they want to fire him, get rid of him, whatever, for what happened at the media scrum, because I don't know that he can continue to be there, he will file a lawsuit claiming whatever, breach of contract or lack of cause of firing or whatever it is. I don't know. But if he's going to be missing out on money, he's going to sue, because that's what people who are missing out on a lot of money are going to do. So chances are AEW will come to some sort of buyout agreement with CM Punk. It might even be worth more than the length of his contract, than the amount of his contract, simply because now his job opportunities might be limited because of what happened with all this. He might consider himself being put in a position where he had to call out the people that he called out there at the press conference, at the media scrum. He might play sort of the victim. He's going to say, hey, I'm not at fault here. The culture you created was, and that was my only recourse to go public. And I was defending myself against the Elite when they kicked my door down with that BTE trigger. So he'll play, him and his lawyer will probably play victim. The Elite will probably play victim, and AEW is going to have to sort it out. He's going to be gone for 9 months. Will he come back? I honestly don't know. Nobody knows at this point. We'll see how this investigation turns out. I would be shocked if Ace Steel came back. If it's true that he bit a dude, I would be shocked if he came back. I'm sure the Elite will probably come back. But yeah, I don't know. I think whenever their contracts are up 2024, I think by 2025, we are looking at a completely different professional wrestling landscape. And I'm here for it. I'm really interested. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Punk comes back from this. I really don't. But if they can find a way where he does, and everybody's happy with it, then that's great. You know, I guess he has been proven to be a draw for the company. It's just they really need to fix the culture there backstage at AEW. So yeah, I mean, I hope everybody gets what they're looking for, but I don't know if that's possible in this situation. Sean Chan says, as a fellow TNA enthusiast, what do you think WWE and AEW could take away from a crash course in TNA 101, excluding the women's divisions? They could both learn a lot from the knockouts. You know, I really like what TNA does right now, or Impact does right now. Their backstage segments, and Raw is starting to actually do this. The Triple H is starting to do this with Raw and SmackDown. How, like, you can move from, like, an interview to, like, a separate backstage thing going on. It feels a lot more organic as opposed to, you know, like they do the thing where, like, the camera's sort of spying on somebody as stuff is happening. I like that. I like when the camera seems to be motivated as opposed to just an awkward scene where the camera's there. Dude moves into frame. They talk. Why is the camera there? This is supposed to be a private conversation. So Impact does that really well. All the backstage stuff, Impact does really, really well. Let's see here. F-Pop. A lot of you want war games. There's a lot of war games questions here. F-Pop says if War Games is done on main roster, make a team to face the Bloodline, including Sammy. So we have another question here about Survivor Series and what we should do with Survivor Series. And I'm trying to find it now. Here we go. Anthony Elliott. With Survivor Series around the corner, how should Triple H book it? I think you do title for title. I think you do who's the Bianca Belair versus who's the SmackDown Women's Champion versus, yeah, Liv Morgan. If she's still champion by then, which she probably will be. But Liv Morgan's sort of going heel a little bit, which I think could work really well. Gunther versus Bobby Lashley. Of course you do that. Of course you do that. Maybe that's the one that you go to a draw on. I think I don't know about Liv Morgan beating Bianca Belair. Bianca probably beats Liv Morgan. But then you have maybe like Lashley and Gunther go to a draw. Everybody would be happy with that, by the way. They would be ecstatic with that because just two dudes beating the shit out of each other to a time limit draw. They'd get a standing ovation for that, and everybody looks great. So you do that. I don't know what you do with the Usos and the tag stuff. Maybe you do the Creeds if they're the NXT champions by then. You do the Creeds versus the Usos. That could be really cool. A good way to introduce the Creeds. Or I guess Pretty Deadly, but the Creeds are really the thing in NXT. And then at the top of the card, that's when you do Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Oh, you can't do the Usos then. Okay, so the Usos aren't in a tag match. Whatever. The Bloodline. So you got Roman, the Usos, Sammy, and Solo Sikoa. That's 5, right? Is that 5? Yeah, that's 5. And then you do like Kevin Owens, I guess Drew McIntyre maybe. You do who else is there? You can't do Theory. Maybe Gargano's in on that. That could be kind of cool. Or a tag team. I guess like there's no really like big contenders for the tag teams now, huh? That's gonna end up being Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Maybe Braun Strowman. And then I don't know, like the Street Profits, maybe. They got a good they had a good feud with the Usos, I guess. Let's see here. Michael Carlson. I like this question. Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker both have had great careers in both the New Generation Attitude Era / Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. Which career era do you prefer from both of them? Oh, man. I'll be honest with you. I liked the motorcycle Undertaker. I like just mean dude Undertaker more than I like the dead man. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or not. I like the Limp Bizkit stuff. I thought it was less cheesy than his goth phase. I was never like a huge Undertaker fan during the Attitude Era. I just thought that he didn't have much care. He just sort of lurk about, not do much. But then when he came back with like a motorcycle, I'm like, oh man, I've seen this guy all over my town. You know, this guy's everywhere. I know who that person is. Let's see here. Shea Ramon says, do you think this year's Survivor Series is going to go back to how it was with rivalries and teams, or is it still brand warfare? I suspect they're going to do brand warfare. It's just hard when one guy, both with like 2 of the titles, are the brand. So they're going to have to get around that somehow. I suspect that's where the Survivor Series aspect is going to come into play. Large Hitbox says, do you think the synergy being created between main roster and NXT can lead NXT to growing significantly in a long-term sense? So, of course, Solo Sikoa won the North American title. It's Thursday while I'm taping this, and this is going up tomorrow before SmackDown. So I suspect Solo Sikoa is going to get attacked by Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown, which is terrific if they do that. I really hope they do. He says, so can this lead to NXT growing significantly? I think Triple H is going to do everything he can to show Vince McMahon what he wanted NXT to be, and I think that's going to end up being a legit third brand. I really do. Freddie Howell, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be some of the top stars in Ring of Honor when it gets a TV show? He says he'd love to see Alex Zane signed to Ring of Honor. I love Alex Zane. I think he's really terrific. I did a video on the Ring of Honor roster, what I think it should be. I can post a link to it if I remember it right here. I think they actually go up over here. So you can check that out. But in short, you know, Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, Willow Nightingale, I think is going to have a big role there. So those are some of the names. Serena Deeb should probably move over to Ring of Honor as well. Sort of a mix of veteran and young talent, like veterans that belong in Ring of Honor. I think that'd be really, maybe even Jamie Hayter could go to Ring of Honor, possibly. Let's see here. We already did that. Brute asks, now that Triple H has gone to black and gold NXT and NXT UK merged their titles, do you think a new wave of title belts are also on the way? Yeah, I think so. I think with the new NXT, they're probably going to go to like sort of probably what they looked like before. I doubt they're going to have that color thing going on. The translucence, I guess. Let's see here. Blake says, should WWE go back to the randomized draft lottery they used from 2005 to 2011? Yeah, I do. I think that was a lot of fun. I think they need to add some fun to the draft and make it make more sense. Let's see here. Motato Chips. Logan Paul, he says, seems very interested in fighting for some gold. Mania is his birthday, and according to him, how would you attempt to book Logan Paul winning one of the mid-card titles at Mania? Boy, oh boy. Lashley and Imperium, those are tough dudes to beat. So maybe I don't want to do that. I don't know. Logan Paul's not going to be around that often. So here's what you do. You turn the 24/7 title for a short period of time into something that is sought after. Maybe you bring some prestige to it. You give it to guys like you give it to like guys from Main Event, T-Bar, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin. You sort of get the guys that aren't on TV a lot but are really good workers. You let them fight over the 24/7 title, but you rebrand it somehow. I don't know. Impact has their digital media championship. Maybe WWE can have their, you don't want to call it the Peacock title. WWE can have some sort of digital media based thing, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think about this question that much, to be honest with you. You turn the 24/7 title into like the TV title. Make it the TV title. That always sounded cool, right? And then you have him win that from like a Mustafa Ali or a Cedric Alexander or Shelton Benjamin. That's what you do. Let's see here. Jesse Kroll. Which wrestler other than Mox would you want to see wrestle New Jack style with their theme playing the whole match? Ricky Starks. I can listen to that guy's theme on loop all the time. We'll end on this one. Claus asks, do you think Vince McMahon can announce that he's returning in charge of WWE if he wants? I don't think so. I don't think without pissing off the shareholders. I think you'd see a lot of infighting and a major civil war within WWE if he tried to do that. Legally, I have no idea what his recourse is if shareholders can prevent him from doing that. From what I've read, I think they can. I think they can hold like a vote and keep him from doing that. So anyways, that's going to do it. Thanks for all the great questions. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and Lacey's home and Gypsy's barking. Check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.